lẹ́yìn olùkàn mẹ́tàdínláàádọ́ta náírà 47.9 trillion naira gẹ́gẹ́ bí owó náà tí wọ́n ti pèyà mọ́lẹ̀ pé wọ́n fi gbọ́ bùkátà ètò gbogbo lórílẹ̀‐èdè nàìjíríà lọ́dún 2025 ọgbà bẹ́ẹ̀ ni wọ́n sọ wípé wọ́n tún yá owó kan tí wọ́n sọ wípé ó tó tírílíọ̀nù 13.8 trillion naira ni wọ́n péjọba àpapọ̀ orílẹ̀‐èdè nàìjíríà ti ṣetán o yá mọ̀ntọ́ wà ńlẹ̀ mínísítà fọ́rọ̀ àbá ètò ìṣúná àti àwọn ìlànà gbogbo lẹ́ka ètò ìṣúná Àtíkù Bàgúdù ló sì sọ lójú wéégún ọ̀rọ̀ yìí làákò tó ń bá wọn níròyìn sí àròlé yìí lẹ́yìn ìgbà tí wọ́n parí ìpàdé ìgbìmọ̀ aláṣẹ ọ̀sọ̀ọ̀sẹ̀ tán eléyìí tí ààrẹ Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu tó darí rẹ̀ nílé ààrẹ tó wà ń lu Àbújá tí ìṣolú orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà wọ́n tẹ̀síwájú wípé láríjà ìgbésẹ̀ ọ̀hún kò sẹ̀yìn àtúgbà ìṣẹ́ náà ni ó sì tún ráàyè ni ó fún wọn láàyè láti máa san gbèsè tàbí owó èyíkéyìí ó ní bí ìgbà téèyàn fẹ́ balance equation ní okó mọ́ fi síbì kan ju bì kan lọ́lọ́rọ̀ ń rí làwọn fi wò wípé ó ṣe pàtàkì káwọn ṣètò owó yá o mélèé tó wà tẹ́lẹ̀ ó ní bí wọ́n ṣe àwọn iṣẹ́ àkànṣe nìkan bí wọn ò bá ṣe àwọn eléyìí tó kù oníṣẹ́ mọ̀ pé yóò fi síbì kan ju bì kan lọ ó ní ká wá fi lè balance rẹ̀ bí àṣà àwọn eléèbó ló ṣokùnfà bá a ṣe yá owó yìí o wọ́n ní tó wọ òun bá dé wọ́n ní àlàkalẹ̀ eléyìí tó jẹ́ ọlọ́jọ́ gbọọrọ tí ó mú ìdàgbàsókè borílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà èyí ni long term framework bí àṣà àwọn eléèbó wọ́n ní ó ṣokùnfà tí ó sì jáwé sóbì ìdàgbàsókè lágbọn ètò ọrọ̀ ajé orílẹ̀-èdè yìí pẹ̀lú wọ́n ní dí rèé o tá a fi ṣètò wípé 13.8 trillion náírà ká tún rèé yá kún tilẹ̀ ká lè rówó ná dáadáa Vanguard ló ṣàlàyé rẹ̀ ní ẹ̀wò kẹ́sẹ̀rí ìròyìn.
níbi ìwọ ti gbé ń yáwó kiri lọ́jọ́ ẹtì
tí ìròyìn yáwó kiri lọ́jọ́ ẹtì tèmi
nígbà tí ìròyìn ọ̀dọ̀ rẹ̀ ń yáwó kiri ń gbà náà
kiri ni o.
èmi náà mú ròyìn eléyìí wá ó jẹ́ kí n lọ sí inú ọgbà fásitì tó wà ní ìpínlẹ̀ Kogi èèyàn ṣe ìmọ̀tán ó lè mọ́ ṣeun bẹ́ẹ̀ sì rèé bá a bá ṣe ibi tẹ́nìkan òbíni bá wọ ìkà béèyàn kan ò béèrè bó pẹ́ títí abíni òní ṣàìbí ni bó pẹ́ bóyá abèrè òní ṣàìbéèrè wọ́n fi ọwọ́ òsì júwe ilé fún àwọn olùkọ́ fásitì 4 láti ìpínlẹ̀ Kogi lórí ẹ̀sùn àṣemáṣe ìbálòpọ̀ tí wọ́n fi kà àwọn èèyàn 4 náà ìwé ìròyìn The Punch kọ láàárọ̀ tòní ìgbìmọ̀ aláṣẹ tó ń mójútó fásitì ìjọba àpapọ̀ tó wà ní Lọ́kọjà eré tètè kí àwọn olùkọ́ ilé ẹ̀kọ́ gíga 4 kan ó mọ sáré lọ lé wọn o kí wọ́n mọ gbọ̀nà lé wọn lọ lórí pé wọ́n ṣe àṣemáṣe nípa ti ètò ìdánwò àti àṣemáṣe nípa kánmọ́ ní kí akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ wá fi ẹ̀yìn lélẹ̀ kí wọ́n lè gbé tan lórí itan rẹ̀ kó lè gba máàkì àti àwọn àṣemáṣe míì gẹ́gẹ́ bó ṣe di mímọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ náà fi pé àwọn olùkọ́ ilé ẹ̀kọ́ gíga 4 yìí ni wọ́n ní ẹran ọ̀ràn hámọ́ lẹ́yìn nígbà tí wọ́n ṣe ìwádìí débi tó lápẹẹrẹ lórí hùrùhùrù ìròyìn tí wọ́n ń gbọ́ àti tí wọ́n ń gbọ́ nípa àwọn èèyàn náà àwọn oníwèé ìròyìn rí gbọ́ wípé ìgbìmọ̀ aláṣẹ ilé ẹ̀kọ́ gíga náà ni wọ́n fi ìjọ́lóǹtẹ̀ wọn lélẹ̀ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ yìí níbi ìpàdé ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kejì wọn eléyìí tó wáyé lánàá òde yìí eléyìí ló ń wáyé níbi ìwádìí ṣe wáyé lórí ọ̀kan-ò-jọ̀kan ẹ̀sùn kéèyàn máa ṣe àṣemáṣe ìdánwò àti mímọ́ fi ìbálòpọ̀ dúnkùkù lájà mọ akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ìwọ tó bá gbẹ̀yìn ẹ wá ọ̀ọ́nì pàṣẹ jáde ọ̀ọ́nì parí pẹ̀lú àwọn ẹnu ọgbà yìí àti àwọn ìdúnkùkù lájà míì tí wọ́n fi ẹ̀sùn rẹ̀ kan àwọn olùkọ́ fásitì náà ní ọdún tó kọjá ìgbìmọ̀ aláṣẹ fásitì náà lábẹ́ ìdarí Sẹ́nẹ́tọ̀ Victor Ndoma Egba mọrírì àwọn aláṣẹ fásitì náà fún mi tẹpẹlẹmọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ ìwádìí náà tí ṣe débi tó lápẹẹrẹ lẹ́yìn tí wọ́n ti gba ìfitónilétí àti ẹ̀sùn nípa àwọn olùkọ́ náà wípé ṣe ni wọ́n ń fi ìbálòpọ̀ dúnkùkù lájà mú àwọn tó jẹ́ akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ nílé ẹ̀kọ́ gíga náà bákan náà ni wọ́n ṣe ìkìlọ̀ fún gbogbo lápọ̀n tí ọ̀yọ́ kí wọ́n dá mi lákaná kí wọ́n dẹ́kun aláǹfin ìbálòpọ̀ mọ̀mọ́rú mọ́ àwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ nú ọgbà ilé ẹ̀kọ́ gíga náà wọ́n wá kọnu sí àwọn tó jẹ́ akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ náà wọ́n ní tó bá rí nǹkan òjẹ́ ya sọ̀rọ̀ bóde sọ̀rọ̀ bẹ́yìn ọ̀bá sọ̀rọ̀ tára rẹ̀ mọ̀ bá dákẹ́ wọ́n ní bọ́n bá rí i pé olùkọ́ kan ń dún mọ̀rú mọ́ wọn tàbí ń fi ọwọ́ lálẹ̀ lé wọn lọ́wọ́ láti lè má jẹ́ kí wọ́n tẹ̀ wájú níbi ó ti ń béèrè ìgbétan létan kẹ́yà sọ̀rọ̀ bóde ẹ lọ kà ó wà nínú ìwé ìròyìn tó jẹ́ The Punch láàárọ̀ tòní.
Mr. Lecturer.
Kọ́lọ̀ ṣàánú.
Ọ̀dà o jẹ́ ń wọ inú ìwé ìròyìn yìí lọ inú ìwé ìròyìn Daily Trust tó jáde láàárọ̀ yìí Adéyẹmí máa wò ó ọjà mọ́ ti ètò wọn wípé àwọn ọmọ orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà tí àpapọ̀ wọn lé ní mílíọ̀nù 6 níye tí wọ́n sọ wípé àrùn ìtọ̀ ṣúgà dáyábẹ́tìsì ó ń bá a fíra ni wọ́n sọ wípé báyìí nǹkan ò sẹnure fún nǹkan ń sapá kan jẹ̀mọ́ fún wọn o látàrí wípé wọ́n ń wò ó wọn èmi hàn ní mi tiẹ̀ ń wò lára wọn gan pé ṣé èsì pé kú ti dé báyìí ìdí ni wípé wọ́n lówó tí wọ́n ń lò láti fi ra oògùn láti fi ṣètọ́jú ara wọn máa fi lo àwọn nǹkan táwọn dókítà pé wọ́n máa lò wọ́n ló ti gbẹnu sókè sí i jura lọ lórílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà ìwádìí pé látìgbà tí wọ́n ti kéde yíyọ owó ìrànwọ́ epo bẹntiróòlù àti àwọn nǹkan míì tó yẹ mọ́ gbogbo náírà ti ṣe ń fojoojúmọ́ ṣubú yakata sí owó dọ́là ilẹ̀ òkèrè lọ́jà àgbáyé wọn kò ló ṣokùnfà ló wà lára àwọn nǹkan tó jẹ́ káyé ó nira kó ṣe girigiri tọrọ ajé wá di tamọ ìgò tí wọ́n ń lò ló jẹ́ pé ó ti gbówó lérí o tí ò sì ṣe é kọlù mọ́ ní gẹ́gẹ́ bí wọ́n ti fi lélẹ̀ ẹgbẹ́ àwọn tí ìtọ̀ ṣúgà ń bá fíra lórílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà Diabetes Association of Nigeria ní ẹ̀mọ̀ ké gbàjarè ọ̀rọ̀ ń wò pa ọmọ orílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà tí wọ́n tó ẹgbẹ̀rún lọ́nà 30,000 sí ẹgbẹ̀rún lọ́nà 40,000 lọ́jọ́ wípé wọ́n ń kú lọ́dọọdún lórílẹ̀‐èdè yìí wípé wọn owó gbọ́ bùkátà fi rògùn ṣe ń tó yẹ nílé ìwòsàn yálà lọ ra tí dókítà ní kí wọ́n lò sí ara wọn ni nígbà tó ń sọ ààrẹ ẹgbẹ́ tí mo dárúkọ rí dókítà ìjì ọ̀fọ́ ugu náà nínú àtẹ̀jáde kan náà ló fi léde nígbà tí wọ́n yà kalẹ̀ jákèjádò ilẹ̀ àgbáyé fún àrùn ìtọ̀ ṣúgà ni ó sọ̀rọ̀ ìdí mímọ̀ ìsọ báyìí ó ní bí nǹkan ti rí lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ báyìí àwọn ọmọ orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà láàrin mílíọ̀nù 6 sí mílíọ̀nù 8 lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ báyìí ló jẹ́ wípé àrùn ìtọ̀ ṣúgà dáyábẹ́tìsì ó ń bá a fínra Daily Trust lọ́kọ́ o inú rẹ̀ ni ẹ wò kẹ́sẹ̀ rí ìròyìn.
ó dáa torí àsìkò wa jáde yan ilé ẹ lọ́mọ kàdá lùkàn pé wọ́n ní kọlọ́mọ fọ̀dà kún nínú gbàgà ìròyìn náà pọ̀ ńbẹ̀ ìwé ìròyìn The Punch tó jáde lónìí lẹ́ẹ̀tì kàgbádùn rẹ̀ ṣókù sọ́dọ̀ tiẹ̀.
jẹ́ sáré mu wá fẹ́rẹ́fẹ́ bí àtíkè ìrọ̀lẹ́ nù Punch tó mú wáyé ọkùnrin kan mọ̀rẹ́ o kìnàkìnà ti tojú ẹlẹ́dìẹ̀ kì í torúkọ Samuel Annie níléeṣẹ́ ọlọ́pàá ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn ti náwó gan látàrí wípé ó fi tipátipá tí kúkú jẹ́nà súnkún sí ọmọbìnrin ọmọ ọdún 14 ó ṣe tó wẹ́lu lára rẹ̀ ó fi kéǹgbé àyà sọlẹ̀ wọn ò fowókọ ọmọbìnrin ọ̀hún léde o àmọ́ wọ́n pèsè ẹ̀lẹ̀ ń wáyé lágbègbè Ṣàgámù ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn wọ́n sọ di mímọ̀ wípé wọ́n náwó gan àti láàwí ọ̀hún lọ́jọ́rú ọ̀sẹ̀ yìí ń bí ọwọ́ aago 2 ọ̀sán níbi tí ti ń ṣiṣẹ́ ńlá bí ọwọ́ rẹ̀ nígbà tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ agbẹnusọ fún iléeṣẹ́ ọlọ́pàá ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn SP Ọmọlọ́lá Odùtọ́lá ó fìdí ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ ọ̀hún múlẹ̀ o àmọ́ obìnrin náà tó jẹ́ wípé wọ́n ṣe tó wẹ́lò fún tí wọ́n yọ páànù lọ bí tí ò yẹ kí wọ́n lọ lára rẹ̀ wọ́n sì pé ó ti ń gbàtọ́jú lọ́wọ́ àmọ́ ọkùnrin yìí wọ́n pààrọ̀ kún epo òyìnbó ló fi ṣe o ó fún ọmọ ọ̀hún ó fún un lóyún.
kọ́lọ̀ ọmọ ṣàánú wa kọ́mọ gbà wá lọ́wọ́ àwọn àgbàlagbà oníkìní kan mọ́ méke eléyìí láfi mọ́ daṣọ bo ìtàgé ní ọ̀rọ̀ tòní ẹ má gbàgbé o tó bá dáa go ìjókòó ilé ìgbìmọ̀ àjọrò yóò wáyé ní ìkànnì tẹ́ ń wò lọ́wọ́ yìí Adéyẹmí Ọlábọ̀dé lórúkọ tèmi jẹ́ tí mo kí wa lẹ́ǹkan sí pé àbáríkà Jímọ̀.
orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà ó da ọ̀dọ̀dẹ̀ wa ó rojú ayé wa ó ráàyè.
Àmín.
Joshua Adénípẹ̀kun lórúkọ tèmi.
Since assumed leadership notion the state of the Living Spring, Governor Ademola has left no one in doubt about his avowed commitment to the overall transformative agenda spanned through education, transportation, health, staff welfare, social infrastructure, Living Spring Update, weekly 91.7 FM, Western Television, Channel 190, Star Times DT, X-Ray.
Here are 5 amazing fun facts I bet you never knew about Christianity.
Number 1, there are over 2.4 billion Christians worldwide.
Amazing fun fact number 2. The Bible is one of the best-selling books of all time, with more than 100 million stories. The Bible is the most translated book in the world, with more than 3,000 languages.
Amazing fun fact number 5. Most Christians throw science out of the window without realizing that most scientists are Christians. Hello, I am Pastor Steve Akinwumi.
And I am Dr. Adeoye Oyewole.
Join us as we highlight and discuss day-to-day issues pertaining to the day-to-day living of every Christian.
Issues in Christendom shows every Sunday on Western Spring Television, channel 190, only on StarTimes.
Evelyn Ohiole,
Hi.
King Eve. How are you today?
I'm good, I'm fine, I'm alive.
I really feel like she's not giving the right answer to the question. When one asks you, how are you? Annoying, seriously. How are you? I'm fine. I feel I'm fine will be the right answer instead of I'm alive. Not that I asked you if you're dead before.
Go and check all these 14-year-old, 15-year-old, 16-year-old, everybody, they are extraordinarily sexually active.
I feel is being unnecessarily hyper when it comes to the issue of sex, because we talk about other topics and he feels so reserved. He really doesn't have anything much to say when it comes to other stuff. But when it's the issue of sex, I believe he's being unnecessarily hyper. That's when I have to pick an issue with him. I mean, it's just being unnecessarily there when we're talking about sex. Just like a child, his mom just got him his favorite chocolate or ice cream, very happy, doing as though if he doesn't have sex for a day, he's going to die.
When it comes to finance, women also support their husbands financially. You need me emotionally. You need me spiritually.
Cassie is an amazing person, but I hate the too much attention. I need you spiritually, I need you mentally. I can get these things anywhere with money. If you go by the topic was who does marriage favors the most? I mean, know how many jobless women they marry every Saturday? They are saying it favors you, favor. Are they vague so?
Growing up, when I was in the world, we've heard of
Who are you now?
Well, MC Too Much said he likes saying when I was in the world, and the last time I checked, well, it looks a bit innocent facially, but deep down, he's actually out of this world. We're all in the world now. As long as you're alive, you're in the world. So MC Too Much, I beg when you talk about that. I don't want to hear that. Next time you talk about I kiss my words.
I think I have a problem with you saying ladies are champion, and that's the problem. Always trying to attach too much importance to that gender.
It's giving insecurity, it's giving low self-esteem, it's giving the blatant baptism. Because at the end of the day, a man who is confident of who he is will not really be disturbed as to whether women are being referred to as champions or not. I mean, at the end of the day, Joseph's a really great guy, but whether he likes it or not, women are champions.
Since assuming the mantle of leadership in Osun, the state of the Living Spring, Governor Ademola Adeleke has left no one in doubt about his avowed commitment to the overall development of the state. The footprints of his transformative agenda span through education, transportation, health, staff structure, among others. Living Spring on Rave 1.7 and Western Spring Television, Channel 190 StarTimes DTT will extract Governor Adeleke's development agenda for your listening and viewing pleasure. From the positive cultural initiative, from the testimonies of civil servants and retirees to those of across the state of the Living Spring, you will discover how Governor Adeleke is driving the economic growth of the state. Stay informed and engaged with Living Spring Update. We will build deep into the details of ongoing infrastructural projects, new initiatives in healthcare, education, and other impactful states. Tune in every Wednesday on Western Spring Television at 6 p.m. and every Saturday on Rave 91.7 FM at exactly 2:30 p.m. You can follow us on all our social media platforms at Western Spring Television and at Rave 917 FM as we tell the story of how Governor Adeleke is shaping Osun into the beacon of development and opportunity.
Living Spring Update is a production of the Office of the Spokesperson to the Governor, Governor's Office, Oshogbo.
West Spring Television. Ours it is.
Welcome everyone. It's the Friday edition of Morning Spring TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. Thank God it's Friday, and we are indeed grateful to God for life. Thank you for joining us and being a part of our world since the beginning of the week till today. It's Morning Spring this day, 15th day of November 2024. This day breaks the month into two equal halves, and it's the 300 rather, and 90th day of the year. We're grateful to God for life. It's a great feeling to be alive. My name is Evelyn Ohiola, welcoming you on board this beautiful morning. Femi, good morning to you, and how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm alive. Up and grateful.
Up and grateful.
And thank God it's Friday as well, TGI. So how do you do?
I'm good. I'm great. Yeah. I'm alive. And, I should correct that, 320th day of the year, not 390th day.
All right. It's always good, especially when you're talking about official working days. I was dressing up, and then I remember today is Friday. More like, thank God, at least. We have done what we should do for this week, and we are grateful. And much more grateful to God for life, and very appreciative of you as well, for staying with us here at your station of choice, where we say it as it is. Femi Ojo is my name. Thank you for joining us today, and the papers are in, and we know you are ready. We are as well. Stay with us. The Guardian newspaper is my first, pickup store today, and oil-backed loans. OPEC quarters threaten federal government 47.9 trillion naira budget plan. Oil-backed loans. OPEC quarters threaten federal government 47.9 trillion naira budget plan. That's on the front page of The Guardian, and just below that, you have the picture of the gentlemen, some of the gentlemen who will be, hoping that good people of Ondo State, vote them in, Loki Aiyedatiwa, the incumbent governor. In fact, with the other gentlemen there, Bola Jai, Abbas Mimiko, Mr. Edem of the NNPP, all of them gone in for that seat in Akure. Ondo Goba election, systemic distrust, voter apathy, economic hardship may marple. Many of these civil society organizations, NGO, have been releasing the expectation of the election, or what they have observed going into the election. And for most of them, they believe the money banks and the party that spends more will possibly carry the day, because the idea, the policies, the promises appears not to be resonating with the people again. Many of them are tired, so it's more like a smaller percentage you might want to say, okay, these are party, or this is my person, or my place, or my support, and then many more people will come out to receive what the money bags have to offer, even when it's not constitutional. But it is what it is. Systemic distrust. That speaks for itself. Voter apathy and economic hardship may marple, especially what is happening in the nation, which many persons believe. This is not paying me. There is nothing I'm gaining from what is going on. I won't go out again and do any of those things. And many will say, okay, maybe there might be, one or two coins that might be up for grabs. Sadly, this is the reality. NHRC reports 427,000 human rights violations in October. NHRC report 427,000 human rights violations in October. And Lagos others revocation of unoccupied housing unit. Revocation rather. Lagos others revocation of unoccupied housing unit. Okay, I hope they will do their due diligence before just taking over, such facility. And military orders will stay neutral. CDS vows as INEC distributes materials in Ondo. That's what you should do, actually. $5.5 billion recapitalization calls fighting as vandals destroy 119 electricity towers. We keep saying it. We should take care of those things and treat those that will not agree with us like who they are, enemies of the state. Atiku advises Tinubu to focus on governance, not 2027. Interesting one. And federal government secures $134 million AFDB loan to boost food production. Here we go. And oil production to hit 2 million barrels per day in 2 months. NNPCL says, and NCC restricts mobile network operators to 7 tariff plans from 369. Okay, you want a detail of that? It's on the business page 18 of The Guardian. That's all from the front page.
And from the Guardian newspaper this morning, we head on to Vanguard newspaper. And Vanguard newspaper is focusing largely on the 2025 budget this morning. As you can see, that's the big bold headline on its front page. 2025 budget, FEC okays 47.9 trillion naira, FG to borrow 13.83 trillion naira. With some riders there, budget assumptions, exchange rate at 1,400 naira to a dollar, oil price benchmark $75, oil production 2.06 billion barrels per day, I beg your pardon, 2.06 barrels per day. Exports fault assumptions, described budget as ambitious. IMF report, Nigeria absent in good news, included in bad news. This is on the Vanguard newspaper for today. We can say that we have already entered into the season of budgets. You hear more of states. Osun State governor has also presented his own budget to the State House of Assembly. Right. So from time to time, you will hear states presenting the budget. And, this is at the center, national. And FEC has approved it. So it's on to the National Assembly for consent, for approval right now. But, we've always said that it's not about you just approving budget. It's about also looking at the performance of the last budget. How much did you achieve? When the last appropriation act, what was it used for? Was it used for that which it was appropriated for? I think we should normalize performance, of our budgets. So it doesn't look like the governors or the presidents just come up with a figure and they approve and that's it. That's on it this morning. That's the big one on Vanguard newspaper this morning. Let's check out what we have on Daily Trust newspaper for today. Daily Trust newspaper, FG proposes, again, still focusing on the 2025 budget. FG proposes 47.9 trillion naira budget for 2025, with the riders pegs crude oil at $75, exchange rate at 1,400 naira to the dollar. Proposal too ambitious, will balloon debt, inflation figures, says an expert. Nigeria eyes $57.4 billion crude revenue as NNPC surpasses 1.8 million barrels per day. And still on Daily Trust newspaper this morning, coalition condemns arrest of woman for criticizing banditry in Sokoto. Coalition condemns arrest of woman for criticizing banditry in Sokoto. These are the issues. This one is speaking against what is against the state. He's speaking against state actors, and you are
and the enemies of our own soul.
So why should she be arrested for calling out these guys, these bad guys, and also probably calling out the government to do what they are supposed to do? Now, when we talk about people being enablers of the government, these are the issues. This is one person that is trying to, move away from the norm of, praising the leaders, even when things are not going right. And look at what has become of her, really. This is a sad one, especially for our democracy.
Unfortunate.
Democracy is government for the people, by the people, of the people. So it's all about the people. The people is at the central of everything democracy. So when the people are removed from a democracy, then what do you have?
Nothing.
You have nothing, exactly. All right, concerns over cash squeeze in states despite increased CBN supply. With riders, POS operators, customers accuse banks of rationing. I've heard about this over and over time again, especially from POS operators. When you go to, they tell you they don't give us enough cash. I went to the bank to collect 100,000 naira, and I was given 20,000 naira. So how do you expect us to use that to work? This is what we use for business.
They tell you to use other payment platforms.
Yeah.
Or whatever you want to do.
Grains merchants mop up notes to visit local markets, and shortage in Ondo ahead of governorship election. Amazing, We had Mr. Bukola Odo, and he told us that more likely as usual, we're going to have vote buying, massive vote buying in Ondo State. The politicians are already stacking up, allegedly stacking up their pockets and their stores and their, rooms with lots of cash just to buy the vote of people. This is not the way democracy is actually run. You are supposed to present your policies, present your ideas to the people, and if they like what you're bringing to the table, they say, yes, we like this guy, we want to go with this guy, and they go with you. It's not about you buying up their conscience just because you have nothing, absolutely nothing to offer. And Femi,
even those, the owners of the conscience are looking for who to sell it to, many of them.
Yeah. And it's because they've weaponized poverty. Look at how many people can afford 3 square meals? What am I saying? How many people can afford 2?
Or even 1.
Meals,
and then you drop 10,000 on their table just to go and just press something which they don't trust.
Some people will believe that if I collect the money, whether or not I collect the money,
what will be?
That speaks to the distrust you took on the Guardian newspaper. People have this massive distrust for those at the end of affairs. So they believe the 10,000 naira, the 20,000 naira, the 5,000 naira you're going to give to me. That is what I would gain from this government, because I know I will never gain anything from this government, which is not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be. All right, and that will be all from the front page of Daily Trust newspaper.
Right, the Nigerian Tribune is next. Nigerian Tribune, Ondo election. Military deploys troops. IGP others tight security. Lots of riders here. INEC distributes sensitive materials to 18 local government areas. PDP accuses ruling party of violating peace accord. It's an attempt to divert attention from your impending defeat, APC replies, and Damagum governors lead PDP final campaign rally. All right, and I'm sure that has stopped since yesterday, because by laws, by today, nothing should be had as far as campaign, publicity, advocacy. The only advocacy that should be heard should be from maybe observers and any other person urging people to come out, but it should not be on partisan basis at all. These are the issues. Now, moving away, and by the way, all the best, and trust us here at Western Spring Television on our sister station at Rave 91.7 FM to be on ground and say it as it is, and observing the proceedings from the nooks and crannies of Ondo State. Stay with us all day. Tomorrow, you have it. Now, moving on. NNPCL reaches 1.8 million barrels per day crude oil production, denies stopping fuel import. And okay, investment security bill, CBN wants against new powers proposed for SEC by the Senate. UCH still owing 392 million naira electricity bill management, and I think that should be probed. Money, earmarked for this payment, and it has not been done, or is the budget being overshot? And these are the issues as well, and and I think there should be an understanding between the electricity distributor there, that's IBDC, and the management of that institution. How can we make this work?
Yeah.
Instead of everybody just doing whatever they have to do, and which is living, or which has left the people stranded, and many possibly losing their lives unnecessarily because of death. Below that, 4 deaths in Shaki linked to suspected Lassa fever. Again, 4 deaths in Shaki linked to suspected Lassa fever. Shaki is in Oyo State. And FEC approves 47.9 trillion naira 2025 budget, set to borrow 13.8 trillion naira. Target economic growth and stability, for whatever that means. Those words is appearing ambiguous right now. Economic growth and stability, these are the issues. I think the last budget was around 38 trillion naira. And how has he performed? Just like Evelyn said, okay, we'll wait for the president to do the needful, on this matter. And we must talk more. And we can't just allow our leaders drop the document there, and the assembly, either the state or national level, will just do some shoddy job. Even I remember, which has always been, by the way, even these outgoing the budgets we are running, in which you are seeing some MDAs having contract project that doesn't have anything to do with them, like Nigeria Marine and Oceanography, whatever, constructing road in one village, and we see some project as seminar on peace and country resolution to some kings somewhere in Lagos State, traditional rulers, and being under, taken by some funny MDAs that doesn't have anything to do with that. And I just would say, these are what some people, it's not oversight. These are what some people do. They just find a place, just impute those things, and later they come for it. But that is where those assembly, this is where they come up. Because at the end of the day, those documents will now be broken down and handed over to different committees of the House or the National Assembly. Okay, something about maritime, there is a committee for that, security, education, and it's the work of these individuals, the committee members, to invite those persons that have something to do with it and check through lines by lines to know that, does this have anything to do with you? How much are you going to do for that? What is the economic importance? And these are the questions. How does this, how will this favor the people? This thing that you want to embark on. And these are some of the things that we should be doing. But it shows that the work of that scrutiny, scrutinizing the document for the benefit of all of us, it's one thing, and it's one thing that we should be talking about. Now, on this part, how thorough, and by the way, he's part of the distrust. Not trusting the executive is one hand. I think people have more distrust for the various assemblies because they believe they are appendages.
They're just an extension of the executive. That's what they believe. They say they think this houses of assemblies, the National Assembly, are just an extension of the executive. It's like you having another ministry, under the executive that is called maybe Ministry of Legislation. That's what it. Honestly, that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like.
And it should not be. And if you check, in fact, many persons, social scientists will tell you, possibly the legislature does the most important job. It's because they can They can check and balance the judiciary. They can check and balance the executive as well and show themselves to be above and beyond. But this is not what we've seen. We've seen a commissioner in a state not too far from us who came to defend the budget, and because, she, it's a friend of the executive, a family member, was just told to take a bow and go. And these are some of the things that we see in that particular ministry. These are some of the, this is not, and when you speak about these things, you see the handlers tag you as anti-government, enemy of, their soul, whatever soul they are carrying at this time. And the picture here on the National Tribune, the Nigerian Tribune, is sadly that of a gallant officer, the most gallant as far as the Nigerian Army is concerned, before who is now late. The remains of the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja, arrive in Abuja on Thursday for his burial day. These are the things, and of course, it will be a field day in Abuja, not about funfair, but about doing the needful for somebody who has rose from just an officer to the #1 man, but then in which life happened to. And, the remains, you can see the ceremonial thing. And then, of course, you expect the big wigs all over the nation to gather in Abuja to pay him that respect. And all of us, Evelyn and I, the production team, all of us from this end, we pay our tribute as well to the late Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja. Our thoughts and prayers are with his family, the widow, the children, and everybody, and the good people of Ilobu here in Osun State. He has done his bit. The rest is left to us. That will be all from the Nigerian Tribune.
And from the Nigerian Tribune, we head on to The Nation newspaper this morning. And also The Nation is focusing on the 2025 budget. FEC approves 47.9 trillion naira as 2025 budget estimates. Lawmakers to get proposal. We're waiting for that. This one here says NNPCL raises crude production to 18 million barrels per day. NNPCL raises crude production to 1.8, I beg your pardon, 18 million. I had to rethink that. 1.8 million barrels per day. And Okpabolo freezes government's account. Trial of 109 foreigners stalled. And the top strip, The Nation newspaper this morning, AFDB's $134 million loan for farmers to enhance seeds production. And Coursemates eulogized General Lagbaja at service of songs. And Super Eagles qualify for Morocco 2025 Cup of Nations. How do you feel, Femi?
I feel good. Even before they played their match yesterday, their plays at the AFCON have been confirmed because Libya beat Rwanda. So the point that the Super Eagles have is unassailable. So definitely. And they went ahead to beat the Beninoa yesterday. So I wish them all the best. I think these are time. And not just as a Nigerian. When you check the performance of the Nigerian boys, many of them are playing their trades at the biggest stage in Europe, and they are peaking. When somebody peaks, when you peak and everybody, like 11 of them, you can see like 7 or 8 of them are peaking at the right time, and you have the right spirit in the camp, they should go a long way. The last time we won was in 2013. Maybe we should give it a shot again. I wish them all the best.
So you think we're going to make a difference this
I think
time?
so. Who is the biggest threat? Maybe Senegal. I think that's the biggest threat that on the African continent. Senegal. And I think we can do it, boys for boys, men to men.
Okay.
Yeah. And I hope the boys will be injury-free at that competition as well.
We'll wait and see. And lastly, from the Nation newspaper this morning, not lastly, this one here says Supreme Court delivers judgment today in States versus EFCC case.
Okay.
The history is about to be made again. Let's see what the verdict would be. Is it going to be against the EFCC or against the states? On the 2024, CDS assures of security agencies' impartiality. Why we stepped down for Ayedatiwa? And PDP urges voters not to allow intimidation. PDP urges voters not to allow intimidation. PDP accuse each other of violating peace accord. It's always the accusation and counter accusations for me, the allegations and counter allegations for me during elections. One party A saying, oh, you did this, but you know, it was your camp. You know, it's all drama, and sometimes it can get funny, and sometimes it can get really, really not funny, especially when it has to do with shedding of blood or violence where people are injured.
And you know what
killed.
this counter-accusation and counter-accusation do? They scare people from coming. Because if people hear this, then people might have that thought of maybe things might get ugly, and then they won't come out. And just let's leave it for them.
You know, they'll tell you my blood is not worth you know, they'll tell you Nigeria is not worth dying for in court. Exactly. What all from the segment for today.
All right, and we'll take this quick break. When we return, we'll have the conversation, and you don't want to miss it at all. Stay with us.